on, guys? It is Jaden and our resident expert Caleb over here with Fantasy Tomorrow. And it is, well, most of you guys have made it into playoffs, so it is more crucial now than ever to get those lineups exactly how we need them to win a championship, okay? Caleb is here to help us do that, and that is why we are diving into Week 14 waiver wires, okay? So Caleb, I guess we should just start with buys. Is there anyone on buy this week?
No, so buys are over. The Buccaneers and the Panthers had their buys last week. That was the last set of bye weeks. So we're all good to go. Everyone's available, so this is where the fun begins.
Awesome. That's what everyone should want to hear. Are there any quarterbacks we should be looking to pick up off the waiver wire this week?
Yeah, so there's actually a few really good options. I've mentioned him the last couple of weeks, but Kirk Cousins is just proving that he's a streamable quarterback almost every single week. He has a good matchup this upcoming week, even though it doesn't really look good on paper. He's going up against the Buccaneers. Now, a lot of people look at that matchup and they're like, oh, the Buccaneers, they're a scary defense, but they're more of a scary run defense as opposed to a scary pass defense. The Buccaneers defense can definitely be thrown on. The Chiefs showed that a couple of weeks ago, and I just don't want to bet against Cousins right now. Between him and Thielen and Justin Jefferson, that passing attack is just so good. And I think Cousins will be able to throw the ball quite a bit in this game. Plus, I think Minnesota is going to be kind of forced to, since they probably will struggle to get their run game going, and they're going to have to be keeping up with the Buccaneers' potent offense. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game, and Cousins would be a good quarterback streamer for this week. I also like Mitchell Trubisky for the Chicago Bears. Now, look, I know it's not a great-sounding pick because Trubisky is just a bad, real-life NFL quarterback. He should not be starting for the Bears. But he's a pretty good fantasy quarterback. He produces fantasy points, and that's all that we really care about. We don't care about whether the game ends in a win or a loss for the Bears, unless, of course, you're a Bears fan. But as long as Trubisky is scoring fantasy points, he's startable, and right now he's doing that. So I think he is startable this week going up against the Texans, who allow a lot of points through the air. And then finally, Teddy Bridgewater for the Carolina Panthers. Now, he's been pretty consistent and good this year. He's coming off of a bye week, which has allowed him some time to get healthy. He's going up against Denver, who allows a lot of yards through the air. We kind of saw that against the Chiefs this past week. The Chiefs should have scored a lot more points than what they actually did. A couple of bad calls here and there and little mistakes kind of caused that game to be a lot closer than it was. But it really showed me that Denver can be thrown on, and I think Bridgewater is going to have success in that matchup this week.
Okay, so there's your quarterbacks, guys. Now I guess it's time for some running backs. So Caleb, are there any running backs we should be looking to pick up?
Yeah, so Cam Akers for sure. He's like the number one. Of course, he's running back for the Rams. Now, he's finally taken over that starting running back job for the Los Angeles Rams. And he had actually 22 touches this past week, majorly out-touching both Malcolm Brown and also Darrell Henderson. Sorry, I always get my running backs between the Chargers and the Rams confused, but yeah, Darrell Henderson. So Cam Akers definitely is somebody that you need to pick up. I think he is somebody that could potentially be a league winner going down the stretch in the playoffs this year if he continues to get all of those touches in the Rams backfield. And then also Ty Johnson for the New York Jets. Now, I know the Jets kind of are capped by just how bad that team is, but with Frank Gore going down due to injury, Johnson came in and ran really well. And I think that if Gore has to sit out a week, Johnson could be startable if you're in a pinch and should continue to run well going up against the Seahawks this week. Now, Adrian Peterson for the Detroit Lions is somebody that could also potentially be streamed this week if DeAndre Swift has to sit out for another game. He's been dealing with a concussion and with an illness, which has held him out for a couple of weeks. But Peterson has been running well. He's actually been scoring quite a few touchdowns lately, and they're going up against the Packers, and the Packers have just a terrible run defense. So I like them this week, and I think he's somebody that you should add just for their handcuff value. And that brings me to my final point. It's just pick up any handcuff running back that is available, whether it's Devontae Booker, whether it's Alexander Madison, Jeremy McNichols. All these different guys can be picked up just in case as insurance. If the running back in front of them were to get injured, they could be somebody that could carry you to a championship.
Okay, and hopefully there's some wide receivers that can also carry us to a championship. So do you got any for us?
Yeah, so Corey Davis, of course, for the Tennessee Titans. Now, he's been somebody that I've been liking this whole year, and just for whatever reason, he's only owned in about half of leagues on ESPN. So he's somebody that needs to be owned through just about every league, unless you're playing in like a 16 league. But he's been super consistent. He broke out this past week. I think he scored over 35 PPR points this past week. And yeah, you just have to grab him. The Ryan Tannehill looks really good right now. The Titans offense looks pretty decent right now. And Corey Davis he's been producing. T.Y. Hilton has actually kind of been resurrected over the last couple of weeks. He's been playing a lot better after a really tough start to the season. And he's somebody that could be worth an add. And someone I like even more than him is Kiki Kuti for the Houston Texans. Now, Randall Cobb got injured. The Texans cut Kenny Stills, and then Will Fuller got suspended. And that kind of leaves last man standing in Kiki Kuti. And that's not even counting that Brandon Cooks, the other wide receiver for the Texans, is kind of dealing with a concussion. So Kuti is kind of seeing just a lot of volume just based on there not being that many other options for the Texans passing game. And Deshaun Watson has to throw the ball to somebody. And Kuti has shown that he can be a reliable option. Now, a couple of picks for if you're in a deeper league. Tim Patrick for the Denver Broncos. He's played really well this season. He had a couple of touchdowns in that game against the Chiefs. And he looks like somebody that really has a connection with quarterback Drew Lock. So he's worth a look. And then also Colin Johnson for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's definitely worth a look in deeper leagues. He seems to have a really good connection with quarterback Mike Glennon. And yeah, it's definitely someone that you should pick up if you are in need of a wide receiver.
Okay, guys, and now it is time for my favorite position. I say it all the time, tight ends. So, Caleb, who should we be looking to pick up?
Yeah, so the tight end landscape is just super depressing right now. Both of these options are kind of just shots in the dark. First I like the most is Cole Kmet for the Chicago Bears. And the reason I like him is because he's actually been outplaying Jamie Graham in recent weeks. There seems to be a changing of the guard at tight end in Chicago. And he's somebody that could be worth a desperate add. He had a touchdown this last week. He's worth a shot if you really want to take a shot in the dark. And then also Tyler Higbee. He's been really inconsistent this year, but he looked good against the Cardinals. He's kind of an outlet for Jared Goff. And Jared Goff has kind of been one of those quarterbacks that needs an outlet at times. So he could be another good desperation add. Again, only if you're desperate.
And as we talk about every week, Caleb is pretty much a bandwagoner when it comes to defenses. So, Caleb, who are your defenses of choice for Week 14?
Yeah, I do jump around a lot, but both of these teams are kind of iffy. But I like them as defensive streams this week. First, the Eagles. Look, the Eagles aren't a great team, but their defense has been playing a bit better, and I like them because they're playing the Saints. And the Saints' offense is a bit limited with Taysom Hill under center. Now, there's a chance that Drew Brees could return this week. I don't think he's going to. But with Taysom Hill playing quarterback, there's just a cap on how many points and how many yards the Saints can gain in a given game. And the Eagles have shown that they can rush the passer. They can kind of limit an offense's efficiency. And I think that they could have some success against the Saints. And also another NFC East team I like is the Giants defense. They're going up against the Cardinals. Now, Kyler Murray has been explosive, but he's been kind of subdued the last couple of weeks, kind of due to a lingering injury that he's been dealing with. And the Giants defense showed against the Seattle Seahawks this past week that they can get pressure on the quarterback and they can limit a quarterback's production even against a top-tier quarterback like Russell Wilson. So I think the Giants can get pressure on Kyler Murray. Murray will take some sacks, and I think that means good things for your fantasy defense.
Okay, guys, so there you have it. Those are some good waiver options for Week 14. Now that we're in the playoffs, it's more important now than it was ever before to make sure that your team is exactly how you want it to go win a championship. And that's what we're here for. So go on ahead and like, comment, and subscribe so we can keep giving you guys this league-winning information. And with that, we are going to say see you later to Caleb. And I'm going to let you guys know that this is Fantasy Tomorrow, where we're giving you the information to learn today and win tomorrow. See you guys next week.